week one of the fantasy football season, and it's great that the season's back, but some of these guys aren't going to be great options here at the tight end position, and they're going to be players to bench this week. The first guy, Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots. So Hunter Henry, he was a great red zone target, no doubt about it, last season for this Patriot team. And he actually was drafted in 70% of fantasy leagues here this season going into the year. But right now, week one, pretty tough matchup versus Miami. I think this ball game is going to be a tight ball game for the most part, and a game where it's going to be a low-scoring one. Yeah, Henry, he can make a few plays, but pretty much if he don't score a touchdown, he's not a fantasy option going off what he did last season. Here's Henry. I know Henry, he was good on the Chargers, but Mac Jones is not a Justin Herbert or Phillip Rivers in the time that he was over there in Los Angeles was Hunter Henry. So Hunter Henry here, I think he'll be a mediocre fantasy option that you could start every few weeks. But right here in a division matchup where it's going to be a close game, I believe, in an offensive struggle for both teams, I don't think Hunter Henry will do anything this week. And he's a tight end I will bench. The second guy, Kmet of the Chicago Bears. So the Bears here, it's going to be a very tough season. I know someone's got to catch the football there. Darnell Mooney, this season I think he'll be decent, but this week I don't like any Chicago Bear pretty much at all here. Cole Kmet's going to have a tough matchup versus the 49ers. They're going to make this team one-dimensional, and it's going to be tough for the Bears to put up fantasy points for anybody, really, I think, versus this Niner defense, and for them to honestly stay in this ball game, because I could see the Niners get off to a 10, 14-point lead, get the Bears offense to be one-dimensional, and really tee off on Justin Fields and not push the ball down the field here. So right now, Cole Kmet, he's a guy I can't count on. A lot of people are high on him, but I'm just not one of those guys coming into the season. He's got an inconsistent quarterback. His offensive line over there isn't good, where he might have to stay in and pass protect a lot here is Cole Kmet. And this season, I think if he had a better quarterback, yeah, 100%, I think he could be good, but I'm not a big Justin Fields guy from what I saw last season with him, just looking to run every play and having bad offensive line pass protection. So right here, Cole Kmet this week versus a tough 49er team. And the way this game's going to go, I just don't trust him this week as a start. And the third and final tight end I would bench this week here is David Njoku with the Cleveland Browns. So David Njoku, a lot of people are hyped about him going into fantasy leagues, drafted in 72% of leagues here, anywhere from the 10th to the 14th round. We've seen him go in fantasy drafts here. And Njoku, yeah, he's the number one tight end. Austin Hooper's gone and went to the Tennessee Titans. But he's got Jacoby Brissett throwing him. People think Brissett's decent. Yes, as a game manager and a guy with short dinks and dunks, yeah, he's decent. But right now, David Njoku, I'm just a guy that's not going to trust him at all. We've seen it year in and year out. He'll put up a 95-yard game with a touchdown, and then the next 3 weeks he won't do nothing, and it's the same cycle here with Njoku. And right here, I know the Panthers aren't the greatest of defenses, but you know this Panther team, they're going to try to go out there and play hard for Baker Mayfield to get him a win versus former team. And David Njoku, I can't count on him. Other fantasy owners are big on him, but I'm just not that guy. And this week here, yeah, he could have a big game, but he's just too inconsistent. And from his track record, he's a guy I'm going to shy away from. So that's a few tight ends I would bench here in week one of the fantasy football season.